Scott, and in this video I'm going to talk about my adventure on the Knobstone Trail, the KT, my through hike of 50 miles over 3 days and 2 nights in the backcountry of southern Indiana. So with that, sit back and enjoy the information in this video presentation. This topographical map, along with the following elevation gain-loss map, show why the Knobstone Trail has earned a nickname of the Little AT. This is basically the only place in southern Indiana where you have constant up and down in elevations within the backcountry. For me, I chose to do a through hike of the KT in preparation for my AT hike that I do each May. It gives me an opportunity to shake down my gear, any new gear I bought, anything that's happened over the winter months. So I make sure my feet are working right, my shoes, my socks, and anything I have in my backpack, that my backpack's still fitting right, and any new food combinations. I'll try those all out on a backcountry hike in the spring, and in 2017 we chose to do the backcountry hike over the 3 days and 2 nights in the Knobstone Trail. The mile markers for the KT go from south to north. Mile marker 0 is at Dean Lake and mile marker 48 is at Delaney Park. When we left our car at the south end at Dean Lake and we caught a shuttle to the north end, Delaney Park, and then we hiked southbound. Another way of calling it is Sobo. If you hike northbound, you are called Nobo. In my through hike of the KT in the spring of 2017, I did cache water. I had 4 water caches. At each water cache there was 1 gallon jug, and that was for 2 hikers. And we strategically placed them so that we would have water at midday and water in the evening, or water first thing in the morning. This allowed us to cook each night and have water throughout the day. When we through hiked the KT in the spring, it was after a week of hard rain, so there was plenty of water out there. But I highly recommend that you do not attempt to through hike the KT without stashing some water caches. Anytime you go hiking in the backcountry, you need to take some kind of navigation system, a map. You can take a digital one, a paper one, both, compass, whatever you want, but some kind of map. So for the Knobstone Trail, they make an official map. This is what I took on the Knobstone Trail. This thing is excellent. This is it's like waterproof paper, folds out, it's big. So it's got half the trail on one side. Okay, there's half the trail. You flip it over, there's the other trail. If it rains, it doesn't matter, it's waterproof. It's got the mileage markers on there. It's really nice. So if you get lost, you can get unlost with this map. Now, as you just saw, it's kind of big. So since it's only a 50-mile hike, what I did is I took this to the Xerox machine and I made copies of the different sections. And then I came in just with a highlighter and highlighted them. And then as we were hiking each section, I'd have these in my pants. I have a little pocket where I put maps at, my phone and stuff like that. So I always had one of these out, and I kept my big fancy map in my backpack for emergencies. But I always had one of these little sections out. And these are what I would be looking at when we were hiking the Knobstone Trail. So, and I started doing this when I was just doing section hikes of the Knobstone Trail. I would print one of these out. And that's how I kind of learned the trail. I would just do one section at a time so I could get used to comfortable with the map. And then when we got into, we were ready to do our day hike, our full hike, I had all these made up, and I just brought one of these little paper maps. I'd fold it up, stick it in my pocket, and then I would pull it out and use it as a reference as we were go along each day. Usually about one of these little section maps lasted like half a day. So I'd have one for from breakfast to lunch, and then another one from lunch to dinner. And this is pretty much how it worked out. And then, I always had this in my pack just in case I needed it. One of my section hikes, we actually did get lost, and I had to pull this thing out to find out where we were at. So it did happen to me, and I was glad to have the full-blown map instead of just my little section map. So highly encourage you to pick one of these up. On my other video, it talks about an overview of the Knobstone Trail. I mentioned how you can find these maps. If you're in Louisville, Quest store sells them. If you're in Indiana, there's other outdoor stores that sell them, or the Department of Natural Resources. You can pick them up at Dean Lake. You can pick them up at Delaney Park. So definitely, if you go out there, get one of these maps. For our 3-day, 2-night through hike of the KT in the spring, the low temperatures are going to be in the upper 20s, and the high temperatures are going to go from 40s, 50s, and 60s each of the 3 days. This caused us to have to bring our winter gear, which ended up adding like 3 pounds into our pack. Ticks are everywhere out on the KT. I highly recommend that you use permethrin on your equipment and your clothing. This will keep the ticks off of you and keep you from getting diseases such as Lyme disease. In this section of the video, we're going to talk about the food I took in my through hike of the 50 miles on the Knobstone Trail in March of 2017. I took a food bag. My food bag had 3 days worth of food in it. The 3 days worth of food, I had 3 lunches, 2 dinners, snacks for 3 days, and 2 breakfasts. And all that came out to be about 6 pounds of food, which is roughly what this weighs now. So that's roughly anywhere from 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds of food. My food bag for when I hike in backcountry is this UR sack. It's a Kevlar bag. Bears can't get into it, rodents can't get into it. It's awesome. It's a pretty easy way to hang and store your food at night to keep animals out of your food from stealing it and contaminating it. Inside the UR sack, you put something called an OP sack, where OP stands for odor-proof. And basically an OP sack is nothing but a really big, thick plastic garbage bag, created in the scientific community, and we kind of stole it in the hiking community. So I'm just going to start bringing things out of my food bag to show you what I took on my Knobstone Trail hike. Snacks. These are Slim Jims. I love Slim Jims. So I had 2 or 3 Slim Jims every day. Slim Jim. Slim Jim. Here's my spoon. This is my aluminum spoon. So I use to eat with. Bag of chips, individual bags. I take these and I mix these with my lunch. For lunch, I have like a piece of bread or tortilla. I'll put like tuna fish packages on, and then I'll crunch up some chips and throw it on there, and maybe throw some honey on there and eat it. And it tastes pretty good. It gives you flavor. So it's pretty good. Tuna packages. Gotta have tuna packages. and you want to look, this one's 90 calories. This one is 70 calories. You can find them mixed with other stuff and they'll come up to 120 calories. You need calories out there. Let's see what else I got. These are little bags of water flavoring. This has actually got some Propel in it, which is you use to replace your Endurolights that you sweat out during your hike. There's also water flavoring in here. I've got a peach one. I'll drink water plain, but after several days you get burnt out on it. You just want some kind of different flavors on your palate. Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts for breakfast. Pop-Tarts are for any time for me. I love Pop-Tarts, but Pop-Tarts are your breakfast. Cliff Bars. Cliff Bars. I snack on Cliff Bars. Usually it's my afternoon snack. And I'll eat my Slim Jim in the morning as well as one in the afternoon. Here's a little jar of honey I take with me. I usually have for lunch. I'll put that on my tortillas or my bread. I like honey and it gives you more calories and stints. Here's an example of the tortillas I carry. I just carry them, usually 1 or 2 per day. And that gives you your carbs. Idahoan potatoes. And this package will make 2 servings for me. So I'll split this up into a baggie and then I'll pour boiling water into it and make a serving. So this gives me this would be 2 nights worth of mashed potatoes. Love mashed potatoes on the trail. Love, love, love. More, these are Fritos. Fritos are my favorite. The individual says Fritos are my favorite to go on my lunch. Let's see, and my favorite dinner, ramen. Ramen noodle, Manchurian ramen noodle. So I love ramen noodles on the trail. I do not eat ramen noodles when I'm in my real life. I only eat ramen noodles when I'm on the trail. I like ramen noodles. They're full of sodium. Bad, bad, bad when you're in your real life. Good, good, good when you're on the trail because you're sweating everything out. So you can replace the sodium. Along with the electrolyte powders in your drinks, you want to replace all that stuff while you're hiking. And here's another snack bar. Just granola, these granola bars. More Cliff Bars. And that's roughly it. So that's pretty much what my food bag would look like for a 3-day hike. It's 3 days, but it would be 2.5 days of food. Day 1 was a long day. It took us 3.5 hours just from the time we woke up in the morning to get to the northern terminus, which was our starting point. That included dropping the car off at the southern terminus and then catching our shuttle driver and then dropping off all of our water caches and then getting to the northern terminus. The terrain on the first day over the first 17 miles was pretty straightforward. We hiked along the lakes by Delaney Park and Spurgeon Hollow and Elk Creek. There were some up and downs, but most of it was relatively flat and kind of wet due to all the rains and the land by the lakes being low-lying. Besides hiking by the lakes, you'll also be doing some road crossings, and since you're in Amish country, you may get lucky and spot some Amish people going by in their buggies. And also this section has a pretty lengthy road walk. I think it was like 2 miles. But everybody's pretty nice, even a couple stray dogs that came up on us. At the end of the first night, we ended up with a great campsite right by a running creek. It had some water actually flowing and flat ground. We sat there and ate dinner and crawled in our tents and went to bed. We slept great at the end of day 1 after being exhausted from a long day. And it was a good thing because in day 2, the terrain really picks up. There are lots of elevation gain and loss throughout the entire day on day number 2. That's a lot of fun because that's what we came for, to get a good workout to get us ready for the Appalachian Trail. When you get to the halfway point at Leota, You really go through a tremendous down and tremendous up, and it's a real butt kicker. So a lot of fun, a lot of terrain. It's amazing that you're in southern Indiana where everybody thinks it's flat, but out on the KT, the terrain goes up and down. As you can tell from these pictures, we were lucky enough to have 3 beautiful days of bright blue clear skies, so it made hiking awesome. So much water fell the week before we hiked that we even found a waterfall out on the KT. Enjoy. At the end of a 16-mile day on day 2, Larry and I found another flat piece of land to throw our tents down, fix supper, and then call it a night. Day 3, while short mileage of only 14, gave us a great climb out of 160 up to Table Rock. It's my favorite climb on the entire KT. It's very much like an AT climb. You get a big views out of it. Then you come along to the Tornado area and you have a great climb up and a great climb down, and then you get to go to Round Top. And that takes you all through the Jackson Hole area. And it's really special to come through there. You get some big views, wide open views. And then you do the last couple climbs up and down as you go into the Deem Lake Park area. Larry and I hiked all the way down to the Deem Lake trailhead, and then we backtracked a little bit and went across the hidden path that took us across the earth dam on Deem Lake back to where our car was in the parking lot. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video presentation of my 3-day, 2-night adventure in the backcountry of southern Indiana along the Knobstone Trail, the KT. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, or a thumbs down button if you dislike the video. To subscribe to my video channel, hit the subscribe button, the red button below. It's right next to the play and pause. You'll get automatic updates when I add new content to my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and have a great day.